I don't even know where to begin with this one. It's the kind of race that just makes you shake your head. If you watched it live, you felt that exact moment when everything snapped. 1 second, it's tight. Intense racing cars locked together, everyone fighting for position like you expect at a super speedway. The next second, it's total chaos. And the worst part? This wasn't just any wreck. This was that wreck, the kind that flips the entire race upside down, wipes out half the field, and leaves everyone arguing about what went wrong. It's the kind of moment that reminds you how brutal and unpredictable NASCAR can be, especially at tracks where one tiny move can take out everyone. Something happened out there that has drivers frustrated, fans split, and the garage once again debating where the line is between aggressive racing and just plain dangerous. And trust me, when you see how it unfolded and hear what drivers had to say, it hits differently. So before we break it all down, if you're a real NASCAR fan, hit that like button and subscribe. NASCAR Nation Report is just getting started, and we are pushing toward 15,000 real fans who live and breathe this sport every week. Now let's get into what actually happened, because this escalated fast. We are talking lap 116, stage 2 at Talladega Superspeedway. And if you know anything about that place, you already know things can go wrong in a split second. Up front, everything looked normal. Tight drafting, cars inches apart, pushing close to 200 miles per hour. Right in the middle of it were Bubba Wallace and Ross Chastain. Then it happened. There was contact. Chastain got into Wallace, and that tiny moment was all it took. Wallace turned sideways, shot up into the outside wall, and instantly the field had nowhere to go. Within seconds, it became a full-blown big one. Cars stacked up, smoke filled the track, multiple lanes of impact, over 26 cars involved. This wasn't just a wreck, this was half the field getting wiped out. Drivers behind had zero visibility. At those speeds, you're basically guessing and hoping. One driver said it perfectly, it turned into a parking lot. And when everything finally settled, the list of drivers out of the race was massive. Kyle Larson, Joey Logano, Ryan Blaney, William Byron, Cole Custer, and Wallace himself. Just like that, top contenders gone in seconds. NASCAR immediately threw the red flag. Safety crews rushed in. Wrecked cars were scattered everywhere. It looked more like a junkyard than a racetrack. But here's where things really heated up the reaction after the crash. In the garage, drivers were furious. A lot of them pointed toward Wallace, not saying he caused everything by himself, because superspeedway racing is never that simple. But they were clearly frustrated with how aggressive things got in the middle of the pack. And that's always the debate at Talladega. How far is too far? To Wallace's credit, he didn't hide from it. Right after climbing out of the car, he owned his part. He admitted they need to handle pushes better and took responsibility for what happened. That matters. Not every driver does that in a moment like this. Still, the damage was done. Blaney talked about how quickly things escalate with the current car, and he's right. The margin for error is almost zero. Logano pointed out that once contact happens with the next-gen car, stability is gone instantly. And we've seen that again and again. That's really the story here. This wasn't just a crash, it was a reminder of how dangerous and unpredictable superspeedway racing still is. One push, one bad angle, one small mistake, and half the field is gone. And zooming out, this changes everything. Playoff contenders lose points, teams take massive hits, momentum flips in seconds, and inside the garage, the tension is back. Because here's the truth. You have to be aggressive to win at Talladega, but this is what happens when it goes wrong. From a fan's perspective, it's complicated. What makes Talladega incredible is the same thing that makes it brutal. Now the big question is, what happens next? Do drivers dial it back? Or keep pushing the limit knowing this could happen again at any moment. Either way, this one won't be forgotten anytime soon. So what do you think? Was this just super speedway racing doing what it does, or did it cross the line? Here's my take. I think this was 100% a classic Talladega big one. But at the same time, you can't ignore the decisions being made in the middle of that pack. What happened to Wallace is something we've seen over and over. He got pushed, the car got unstable, and with this next-gen car, once that happens, it's over. These cars don't forgive contact at those speeds. But I also understand the frustration from other drivers. When you're running inches apart at nearly 200 miles per hour, every move matters. Positioning matters. How you take a push matters. And if anything feels even slightly off, it can wipe out half the field just like we saw. So when drivers like Blaney and Logano speak out, it's not just about blaming one guy. It's frustration with the bigger picture. The margins are too small, and the consequences are too big. At the same time, this isn't all on Wallace. Chastain was part of that initial contact. And the reality is, this style of racing almost guarantees something like this will happen eventually. For me, the real issue isn't one driver. It's the combination of ultra-aggressive racing and a car that becomes unstable the moment it gets touched. And the result? Larson, Byron, Custer, and so many others taken out with no chance to avoid it. That's the part that never sits right. Because yes, it's exciting. It's what makes Talladega, Talladega. But it also feels like too much of the race comes down to survival instead of pure racing. So honestly, this wasn't just bad luck. This is the system working exactly how it's built right now. And until something changes, whether it's driver approach or how these cars behave in traffic, we're going to keep seeing this again and again. And if the pressure keeps building like this, the next race won't just be another race. It's going to feel personal.